Good afternoon, basketball fans, and welcome to a little Monday afternoon matinee between the 6-1 Boise State Broncos and the 4-3 Cowgirls of Wyoming here inside ExtraMile Arena here early on a Monday. But we've got a big, important conference game for both of these teams coming up. The Broncos currently sit second place in the Mountain West Conference with that 3-1 record. They were on the road at Air Force a week ago. Their first road games of the season after their trip to BYU was canceled due to COVID-19. Broncos got blown out in the first one against the Falcons and then rebounded quite nicely and blew out the Falcons in game two. As the Broncos starters have just been announced, there they are on your screen, and it's the typical starting five. Bowers and McGuire make up the middle, with Lavelle and Mark, the shooting guard and small forward, and Mary Kay Nero, who currently second in the Mountain West in assists, will run the point. Meanwhile, on the other side, coming in for the Cowgirls as they win the tip, they're coming off a hard-fought series against Fresno State in Laramie. They took the first game against the Bulldogs on a buzzer beater, as now they get the first basket of the game, and it's Quinn Weideman who scores it. In game two against the Bulldogs, the Cowgirls took it to OT. They had to fight back in the fourth quarter, but they did manage to find a way to get it to overtime as Lavelle will put up a free throw line jumper that's no good. And the Bulldogs ended up coming away with the 83-80 victory. And it seems so far this season that the way to win the Mountain West is going to be to sweep at home and split on the road. As so far, only one team has been able to sweep all their conference games, and that would be New Mexico, but they've only played two. As Mallory McGuire lines up a three, that one's off target. Alexis Mark with the putback, and the first points for Boise State. You also have to wonder if the Broncos had gone to BYU, if they would have played any differently in that blowout loss to Air Force. Certainly 3-1 is a fantastic record, but the Broncos would love to be 4-0 and have a stranglehold over the conference. 2-2 game here. We'll take a look at the starters for Wyoming. Alba Sanchez Ramos, the junior guard from Madrid, Spain, coming off a career-high 27 in the OT loss. She played 38 minutes in that one. And that is one thing about the Cowgirls, is they like to run their starters all game long. Gerald Madison, in his second season as head coach at Wyoming, plays his starters on average about 26 minutes a game between the five of them. As here's Mark trying to guard Sanchez Ramos, keeps her from going baseline, and the shot is deflected out of bounds. Broncos put on an absolute clinic in the paint in the victory over Air Force. They had 12 block shots, second most in a single game in program history. And Abby Muse, who hasn't seen the floor yet, had 7, which is tied for second in a single game. Pastor Bowers intercepted. Two Cowgirls collide, and they'll be down a player here on the fast break, and then we'll get a backside whistle, so that three ball will not count. 7:47 to play, and slow to get up is Diney Davidsdottir, the graduate transfer from Niagara University, and she is helped off the floor to the bench. So yet another international will come in. As there you see Gerald Madison, head coach of the Cowgirls. Marta Savic, the Croatian, comes onto the floor to replace the injured Davidsdottir. And here she is getting her first touch. Instantly gives it up to Johnson. Jade Johnson with 7 on the shot clock. Now 5 Going to have to put a shot up here. Steps around Bowers, and it doesn't hit the rim, but Narrow snagged it before the shot clock expired. Slow start for both teams offensively. Lavelle. Short. McGuire gets it, goes back up through some contact. Mallory McGuire gives Boise State their first lead of the afternoon. Just 3 baskets scored here in the first 3 minutes of the game. Johnson's guarded by McGuire. This is Savic. Bowers rejects it. And it's pulled in by McGuire. McGuire left alone. 3 on its way. 3 is good. Mallory McGuire so dangerous in transition. One of the best 3-point shooters on the Broncos, even though she is the team's tallest player. Has great touch from the outside, and she makes it 7-2. Here's Tommy Olson. Trying to find a pass. 5 on the shot clock. Now 3, and the pass is bounced out of bounds, and it's a turnover. Broncos not allowing the Cowgirls anything, and Olsen passed it right when Johnson cut. Another turnover for Wyoming. Broncos on a 7-0 run as Abby Muse gets her first touch of the game. McGuire post fadeaway. She doesn't do that often, but when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And McGuire has 7. It's not often that you see McGuire go to the post fade. It's often a drop step towards the basket instead of moving away from it. As here's a nice little bounce pass that finds Sanchez Ramos. And the Cowgirls finally end their 4-minute scoring drought. We approach the halfway mark of quarter number 1 as Narrow drives, dishes, and gets it back. McGuire, another 3. 10 points for Mallory McGuire. An explosive offensive effort from her early. Narrow nearly with the steal. She's got some help defense. Savic gets hacked and is fouled, and she will go to the line. Narrow got out of position, gambling for the steal. We're going to take a break. 4:38 to play here in the first quarter. Mallory McGuire, 10 of the Broncos' first 12 points. Hot start for the Broncos, especially for Mallory McGuire. Already 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting, and she's knocked down 2 3 balls as well in this opening stretch of the game. And she is trying to put the Broncos into a comfortable lead. But the Cowgirls at the moment have a chance to cut into that 8-point lead, as it'll be Marta Savic at the line to shoot 2 after being fouled by McGuire when she went up before the break. And Savic misses free throw number 1. The 6'1" freshman from Zagreb, Croatia, makes the second. So I make it 12-5. And McGuire's left open again from deep this time. It's short. And Mark trying to steal the pass. Here comes Sanchez Ramos straight around McGuire and scoring at the basket with ease. Sanchez Ramos just narrowly missed out on a double-double in the loss to Fresno State. Finished with that career-high 27 and pulled down 9 rebounds as the Broncos turn it over. Just out of the reach to the left hand of Mallory McGuire. Cowgirls made a couple of substitutions there, bringing Diney David's daughter back onto the court, as well as Grace Ellis. That, on the reverse, was McKinley Bradshaw. And Bradshaw makes the game 12-9. Lavelle getting space off the screen. Not hitting there, but Lalott keeps the offense alive. Lavelle again, this time a left-handed floater, doesn't go, gets her own rebound, goes back up, no call, but the basket counts. So Jade Lavelle taking 3 shots on the possession, and after getting her own rebound, gets one of them to drop. Here's David's daughter. And Bradshaw gets Muse in the air around baseline. Nice move by McKinley Bradshaw. Already 4 points for her. That matches what she did in the loss to the Bulldogs, as Narrow's too strong and the lead just 3. Wyoming with a chance to try on this trip down the floor. Here's Ellis. Bounce pass, Bradshaw again. 3 possessions, 3 baskets for McKinley Bradshaw. All of a sudden, that Bronco lead just the 1 point. Lavelle gives it up without McGuire on the floor. Broncos are going to have to find scoring from others. How about Alexis Mark on the offensive glass? She'll get some second chance points, and the Broncos will get their lead back up to 3. Mark had 10 and 7 in 27 minutes in the victory against Air Force. Ton of Broncos got into the action in that game as Bradshaw was walking her way through the lane, but didn't put the ball on the floor quick enough. As you see it there. Most of the Broncos, in fact, all of the Broncos played sans Chinma Njoku in the victory over Air Force, as the Broncos were in control of that one from the get-go on Friday. Here's Lalott, great move, spinning around one and dodging the other to get her first points of the game. Minute 15 to play in quarter number 1. And missing there, Ola Ostuska. Narrow gives it off to Lavelle. Under a minute to play, and Bradshaw with the steal. Bradshaw against Lavelle, up, the block, it's clean, and it's out of bounds off Lavelle. Broncos continue to swat shots. Beautiful defensive timing there by Lavelle. Up and down, right on the basketball. In fact, Boise State comes into this contest leading the Mountain West in blocks per game with 6.3. In fact, the Broncos defense has been fantastic, not only leading in blocks, but also lead the Mountain West in scoring defense. They're giving up just 59.5 points per game. Also, field goal percentage defense. Opponents shooting just 33.9% from the floor against Boise State, and lead the conference in a rebound margin, plus 6.5 for Boise State over their first 7 games. Meanwhile, McKinley Bradshaw continues to score. First free throw goes down. Second one does as well, and she's got 8 points in the game. And here's Anna Osley. The second unit backcourt along with the first unit front court. McGuire and Bowers alongside Sykes, Osley, and Reed as McGuire misses the three ball and the Broncos have to match up in transition. Here's Jay Johnson. Wyoming can hold for basically the last shot of the quarter. Clock won't stop on a make, and the shot and game clocks are separated by just a second. There's Weideman giving it up. Johnson tries to dish it off, stolen away. Osley, 1 second, throws it up. Backboard, no good. And that is how the first quarter ends. Broncos will take a 3-point lead into the locker room. They are on top of Wyoming, 18-15, second quarter coming up next on the Mountain West Network. And Wyoming. Broncos second in the Mountain West Conference, taking on the 2-2 Wyoming Cowgirls. As the Broncos have the ball to begin the second stanza, McGuire backing down. Sanchez Ramos gets the friendly bounce, and she's got 12. Last time these two teams met, the semifinals back in March of 2020 in the Mountain West Tournament. Broncos yet again eliminated the Cowgirls from the tournament as McGuire stops the shot of David Daughter and grabs the rebound. It's been 2 years in a row now that the Broncos have ended the season for Wyoming. Last year in the semis, winning 79-71, and then in 2019, the championship game where the Broncos captured their third straight Mountain West Tournament championship before last year where they won their fourth straight. And the dynasty under Coach Presnell still in full effect as the Broncos look to take a commanding 4-1 conference record into the next game on Wednesday, with Rachel Bowers also missing a three there. Here's Jay Johnson driving around everyone, and in the end, much too much force off the glass. This Wyoming team, very good, as Reagan Reed from outside gets one to drop. The freshman from Lake Stevens finding the range. There's a miss from Weideman. And the question that is on everyone's mind that follows the women's game here in the Mountain West is how good is Fresno State? As we mentioned, Wyoming nearly took both off of them in Laramie. Certainly Laramie's no easy place to play. The Broncos drop games there often, and that is a blocking foul. And that'll send Sykes to the line. But the Bulldogs were picked to come in and run this conference. Currently on the season, they're just 4-4. They're 2-2 in Mountain West play. They split both their series, one with Colorado State and then the other one last week with Wyoming. Broncos will head to Fresno next Thursday and Saturday. And they will get their ability to size up Wyoming. Or rather, Fresno State. They're sizing up Wyoming right now. And thanks to that free throw, the Broncos have a 9-point lead over the brown and yellow. As Alexis Mark comes back in. Christina Gill also on the floor for Boise State, along with Abby Muse, Elodie Lalott, and Reagan Reed. This is Sanchez Ramos. Olsen gives it up to Bradshaw. Bradshaw goes around. Bradshaw goes in and scores again. Pass for Gill. Was it tipped? Yes, it was. As Mary Kay Narrow checks back in for Boise State. Already 3 minutes gone here in the quarter. Dribble handoff Mark. So take a close little jump shot, and that will rebound around and drop. Tommy Olson going very quickly there. Here's Bradshaw, guarded by Narrow. 12 guarding 12. Before it's given back up to Olson. Savic has post position. They managed to find her. Working on Lalott. Lalott with a big block. And it'll stay Wyoming ball. It looked like it might have rolled out off of Savic. But rather just off the left hand of Lalott. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Sanchez Ramos, I believe, is fouled, and that will reset the shot clock to 20 seconds. Indeed, it is a foul against Mary Kay Narrow. Big block again, Elodie Lalott. The Broncos continue their block party, bringing it from Colorado Springs back to Boise as Lalott picks up her second rejection in the game. 4 as a team for Boise State already. This BSU team is long, it is athletic, and the block is being reviewed. Gonna see who it was last touched by. Coach Gordy Presnell, 16th season. Last time out here at home, picked up victory number 300 as a Bronco, and closing in on his next milestone, that would be career victory number 700. He's just 3 victories away from that one, so he can't do it here at home. 2 wins this week would put him at 699. As the Cowgirls are in a nice little inbounds play to get Quinn Weideman open. And then the Broncos instantly turn it over in transition. Reagan Reed missing the handle. Down low, this is Savic. And it's an and one. Some light defense from Lalott that time, but she gets whistled for the foul. And Marta Savic will go up to the line with an opportunity for a 3-point play. Free throw no good, so the lead remains 5 for BSU. Narrow kicks off to Gill. Trying to drive and dish. And the pass too high for Narrow. Five and a half to play. So Wyoming continues to try to cut in to the lead, but they will also turn it over. As Savic was looking for a pass to Sanchez Ramos. The Broncos did well to tie her up on the defense. Bowers and McGuire back on the floor for Boise State. And here is McGuire. To a cutting Bowers. First shot won't go. A battle for the board is won by Weideman. And Wyoming gets it out over the timeline. The combination of Ramos and Olson. Savic again, this time going right and finishing with the right hand. Savic was a big-time player for Croatia at the Under-18 European Championships in 2019, where she averaged just a tad under 9 a game for points and 5.5 boards a game for the Croatian women's U18 team. And here is Bradshaw again getting to the basket easily, this time blowing the layup. This time Bowers will put a body on her and stop her. And we've got a traveling call against Bradshaw. 26-23, 4:08 to play here in the second. We'll take a break. The last 2 minutes have been nothing but Wyoming buckets, and a lot of them coming from Marta Savic in the paint. She got the and one, as you just saw, and then even working against Mallory McGuire, being spotted 4 inches. Doesn't matter, still goes to work down low on the block. She's got 5. Wyoming on a 6-0 run here since the 6-minute mark of quarter number 2, and the lead is just 3 as the Broncos and Narrow bring it over half court to try to extend their lead. Wyoming has not led since the early moments of this one when they were up 2-0. Bowers working hard, gets fouled, and she'll head to the line. Ever since that McGuire blow up in the first, Wyoming has been playing catch up the whole time, and Bowers just took and made free throw number 1. Super quick at the line is Bowers, and it's effective as she makes them both. On her first 2 points of the game, so she's finally on the score sheet here. Olsen trying a bounce pass, but that'll be a kickball violation, and it'll stay with Wyoming. Haven't seen much Jade Lavelle here in the second quarter. She's the second leading scorer in the conference at the moment. Coming into this one, averaging 19.6 a game. As the shot clock is down to 7. Here's Ostuska, and that won't go. Alexis Mark had some space, tries a little teardrop, but it's too long and hits the left side of the rim before dropping out. Bradshaw, 3-ball, got it! McKinley Bradshaw continues to stroke. She's got 13, and she's 5 of 6 from the floor. Both teams shooting almost 50% in the game. Wyoming 46, Boise State 44, as McGuire gets the dump off and scores to reclaim her scoring throne. It's a battle between Bradshaw and McGuire. McGuire with 14, and Bradshaw traveling there. She's got 13 in the game. .244 on the clock. 4-point lead for the blue and orange. Both teams now shooting exactly 46% in this game. Broncos 12 of 26, while the Cowgirls are 11 of 24. That was Martina Makalova getting her first touch. And Alexis Mark turns it over on some good defense by, yet again, McKinley Bradshaw, who's been active everywhere. Now on the ball, high pick and roll. Ostuska. Good ball movement here by the Cowgirls. They're using all the shot clock every time down the floor. As it's down to 6. Now 5. Weideman, baseline, met by Bowers and turned back. Rachel Bowers with a rejection, her first of the game. Broncos have 5 in the game now. And there's 1 second on the shot clock here for Wyoming, so it'll have to be in and up. In, and it is not up. Grace Ellis doesn't get the shot off. And it is a team turnover against Wyoming. 30-26, a minute 52 to play. In the first half. Makalova. Broncos now using all the shot clock. There's just 5. Mark, right-hand scoop shot. McGuire carving through and managing to pick up a foul. She went straight around Weideman and got tangled up to draw the foul. Great hustle play there by number 44. McGuire makes the first. The daughter of Dan McGuire, former NFL quarterback, the niece of former Cardinal and A's great Mark McGuire. So, coming from a very athletic family is Mallory McGuire. And she's got 16 points, as we have likely seen the end of her first half as she went to the bench. Abby Muse will come along. Makalova slides over, forces a ball on the floor, and that'll be a jump with the possession arrow going to the right, which means it will stay with Wyoming. With a good hustle play, Makalova getting in there against Weideman, and Narrow with the awareness to get there. Muse nearly stole that pass that was intended for Grace Ellis. Makalova again, and that is going to be a loose ball foul against Alexis Mark, as she took the knees straight out from under McKinley Bradshaw. Talk about Mallory McGuire coming from an athletic family. Well, McKinley Bradshaw also has a family with a very athletic background. Both her mother and aunt went to Ricks College. Her mother played basketball, her aunt ran track, and then her brother played rugby at BYU. Now she being the 4th in the family to play a collegiate sport. This is Weideman missing on the free throw line extended jumper. Under a minute to play here in the first half. Broncos on top by 6. As Muse to Makalova, 3 ball in and out. Cowgirls have an opportunity for a 2-for-1 if they want to try it. And Makalova going to get whistled for a foul. Bradshaw was just trying to put the ball on the floor, and Makalova harassed her. And yet again, Makalova harassing Bradshaw. That'll be 2 quick fouls. 15 foul against the Broncos. That means Wyoming will be in the bonus, and McKinley Bradshaw will head to the line. Up and good for the sophomore. 5'11" guard. Went to Lyman High School in Lyman, Wyoming. And she misses the second, but Abby Muse touched that one out of bounds. No, Grace Ellis, rather, the last hand. So it'll be Bronco ball. 1.8 seconds between the game and the shot clock. Broncos just look for their best available shot here. As it's narrow. High pick and roll with Muse. Back to Lalott. Pass tip, stolen. 5 seconds here. Bradshaw lost the handle, and with 2.3, it'll be Bronco ball. So a sloppy end to the half here for both teams. In fact, not just this final possession, but from the floor as well. Neither team with a field goal in the past 2:55. As Narrow chucks it, and it is well short of the basket. Broncos up 32-27 as we head to half, and the defense has been there. Lalott, Bowers, and Lavelle all getting involved on the defensive action with the block party. We'll have halftime stats and highlights up next on the Mountain West Network. Welcome to halftime here at Extra Mile Arena. Boise State up on top of Wyoming. 32-27 is our score here at halftime as Boise State was off to a commanding first quarter start with Mallory McGuire, and she scored the first 10 of the Broncos' first 12 points in the game. In the end, the first quarter would finish 18-15 in favor of Boise State, and the Broncos outscored the Cowgirls in the second as well by a score of 14-12. But the second quarter ended on a scoring drop for both teams. No field goals over the last 3.5 minutes for Wyoming, while Boise State went 2:55 without a field goal to end the second. So certainly both Coach Presnell and Coach Maddington of the Cowgirls will have a lot of talking to do to their teams, who are shooting well, as you can see from the numbers. Take a look at the first half stats. 43 and 42% for these teams respectively, which is a very good shooting performance that you cannot be upset with. It just fell apart at the end of the first half. Boise State, after having Mallory McGuire hit her first 2 3 balls, they've only hit one since. They're 1 of 8 since then, and the Broncos need to turn it around. Meanwhile, Wyoming has only attempted 4, and they've knocked down 1. Wyoming struggling from the stripe. That really hasn't been their MO this season. They're only shooting 72% at the free throw line, and here just 4 for 7. The rebounds and the turnover numbers are also quite similar, but the Broncos, they blocked 12 shots against Air Force on Friday. Well, they've already got 5 here in half number 1. They come in leading the Mountain West in blocks per game, averaging 6.3. Teams against Wyoming are blocking 4.3 shots per game, so the Broncos are already above that number, and Wyoming's number is going to get higher. The Cowgirls only come in averaging 2.3 blocks a game, and so far they have 0. We saw Mallory McGuire in the first, as she has 16 in the game, and she's the leading scorer, but McKinley Bradshaw had herself quite a quarter in the second. A player that only scored 4 points on 1 of 6 shooting in the loss in OT against Fresno State. But here in this game, she has 12. Rather, make that 14 on 5 of 6 shooting and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Wyoming also dominating the Broncos in bench points, 19-6 in favor of Wyoming. Of course, Boise State up in the game by a score of 32-27. The points in the paint are exactly identical. Both teams with 16 assists in favor of Wyoming, 6-5. Steals also in favor of Wyoming, 4-2. But the Broncos winning in points off of turnovers. They have 10 compared to the Cowgirls' 6. And the Broncos will look to continue their hot play from the floor when they come back for the second half. When we come back, we'll have first half highlights right after this. Keep it here on the Mountain West Network. Welcome back to halftime here at Extra Mile Arena. Leonard Berry here inside as we bring you Wyoming versus Boise State, a big Mountain West matchup here on a Monday afternoon, the first games of the Mountain West week. No other teams will play until Thursday. And in the first half, it was the Mallory McGuire and it was the McKinley Bradshaw show. Both those players leading their respective teams, as Bradshaw has 14 on 5 of 6 shooting from the floor. She's also gone to the free throw line 4 times, made 3 of them, but she has turned the ball over 4 times, which has been a problem for the Cowgirls. She's got 13 minutes on the floor, 2 rebounds grabbed for her as well. But the first quarter was all Mallory McGuire as she started the game off, scoring 10 of the first 12 for Boise State, knocking down 2 3 balls, as well as going to a nice little post fade. You see right there, getting that one to drop, and McGuire continuing her tear of play. She's averaging over 10 points a game. So far, 16 here in this one on 6 of 9 shooting, 2 of 5 from deep, and a perfect 2 for 2 at the free throw line. She's also pulled down 6 boards and had an assist to Rachel Bowers as well. When we come back, we'll have all the highlights from the first half and the second half, which is just about to get underway. So keep it here on the Mountain West Network. Halftime here in Boise. Both teams, however, back out on the floor as we're just a couple of minutes away from the second half beginning, and one of the biggest second halves maybe of the season for Boise State, as we'll take a look at the highlights from half number 1. Mentioned the Broncos got out to a hot start, most of it due to Mallory McGuire and her ability to score the basketball early on, but Wyoming stormed back at the end of the first. They were down by 9 at one point in that first half, but Wyoming managed to make it a 3-point game going into the second, and then the Broncos in the second only outscoring the Cowgirls by 2, a score of 14-12. That's why we got the score at 30-27. As you can see, all of these highlights of Mallory McGuire just pouring it on. Jade Lavelle, who scored there, has been very quiet this game, coming in averaging 19.5 points a game. Only 2 points so far in this one, and just 1 of 5 from the floor. She's also only played 9 minutes, which out of all the 5 starters is the least amount of time on the floor. And in fact, a couple players on the bench have almost played as long or more than her. Reagan Reed, Abby Muse, both with 7 minutes, and Elodie Lalott, who has played 8 minutes. And the Broncos will have to watch the foul trouble. Lavelle did have 2 fouls, so part of the reason why she sat out. And for Boise State, certainly encouraging for them to be able to carry a lead into the half against a good Wyoming team without your best scorer on the floor. Of course, Mallory McGuire is certainly no slouch, a preseason All-Mountain West first-team selection, and possibly, when it's all said and done at the end of the year, could be the Mountain West Player of the Year. Her and Lavelle certainly have a fantastic shot at it, depending on how the rest of the season goes, as there you see Jade Lavelle, who will be out on the court to start the second with those 2 fouls. And she will have to be cautious of how aggressively she defends. It's been the Broncos' MO all season long to play hounding aggressive defense, but it will be Broncos on offense to begin. And there is McKinley Bradshaw, who has been the spark off the bench for Wyoming with the 14 points. Mark inbounds to Nero, and the second half is underway. Straight to McGuire. Working on Sanchez Ramos. Right hand, no good. As McGuire tried the push shot there from the baseline. McGuire hits the deck, and Johnson travels. He was looking for a backdoor cutter. Sanchez Ramos was going there, but Johnson moved the pivot foot and got called for the travel. Both these teams still without a field goal in quite some time. Can Lavelle end that? No. Just 1 of 6 from the floor now for Jade Lavelle. An off afternoon for her. Here's Sanchez Ramos. Thought she was going to take it in transition. Instead, slows it down. Gets it under the basket, and Bowers is going to be whistled for a blocking foul. That'll be on the floor, so Wyoming will take it out under the basket as we'll take another look. Bowers bumping her way into Ramos. Here's David's daughter. Down low, Olsen. And Ramos left alone at the 3-point line. Can't get it. McGuire pulls down board number 7. Mallory McGuire should have no trouble collecting yet another double-double here this afternoon, as Nero to Bowers for the assist and the bucket. Nero dropping dimes, 4 assists in the game. Mentioned in the first half that she is second in the conference in APG, assists per game at 6.5. David's daughter working on McGuire. Instead, kick out to Johnson, no good. And Lavelle with the board this time. 7-point lead for the Broncos, 2 minutes gone here in the third, and that is a foul on David's daughter. You cannot believe it. And nearly a steal. Lavelle off the inbounds. Baseline jumper won't go. Lavelle, who normally dominates the mid-range, struggling in this one. Johnson, a free layup and a free 2 points. Assist from Olsen there in transition. That's the fourth assist for Tommy Olsen, as Mary Kay Narrow proves she can score as well. Driving straight through the lane and getting the layup to drop. David's daughter wanted the entry pass, but it was too risky. They'll bring it out to Olsen. And David's daughter, in the end, will manage to find a bucket. 5-point lead for Boise State. McGuire devours is too strong, and it's out of bounds. We'll take another look. Straight through the hands of Rachel Bowers, who had to jump for the pass as well. Kimora Sykes in the game, along with Elodie Lalott for BSU. Here's Olsen. This is Johnson, gives it up. Ends up back with Olsen. 8 on the shot clock. As Narrow stops. Olsen, kick out, banked in. A 3-ball for Jay Johnson. It is Monday afternoon. 3:03 Mountain Time. Banks are certainly open, and it was there for Johnson. So the lead becomes 2 with 6:20 to play in the third. Lalott, McGuire, pass tipped. 7 on the clock. Lavelle trying to break the cold drought that she is in. It's been quiet from her. Just 1 of 7. Sanchez Ramos for the lead. No. Johnson picks up. 6 on the shot clock. Lalott takes it away. Narrow to McGuire. Thought about it. Thinks about it again. Now, trying to use the glass. No good. Lalott, second chance. Also no good. Lalott, third chance. This time she just kicks it out. 2 offensive rebounds on the possession for Boise State. Seven on the shot clock. Sykes, McGuire, 3-ball. Too strong. Narrow chases it down from the other side of the court. Broncos will get a new 20 on the shot clock. Lalott going up through a lot of contact, and Elodie Lalott with the left hand. 4 points, 4 rebounds. David's daughter, reverse, no good. As the native of Iceland can't find a way to put it through the hoop. Lavelle calling for the pick. Bronco offense looks a little bit lost as Lalott just chuck one up as the shot clock was dwindling. Johnson over to Weideman in the near corner. David's daughter has it stripped away by McGuire, but able to get it back. This game certainly feels like it could go either way at the moment. 5 on the clock. Now 4. Great cross-court pass from Olsen, but shot's too strong. Misses the rim, and it's a shot clock violation. 3:50 on the clock. We will take a break. Broncos up by 4 thanks to this bucket by Elodie Lalott. Back at ExtraMile Arena. Broncos on top by a score of 38-34. And it is Boise State basketball. Here as we come out of the media timeout. Anna Osley in the game, along with Narrow, Muse, McGuire, and Sykes for the Broncos, and that is a 3-ball for Mallory McGuire. Hadn't hit one since the first quarter, but gets on the board late in the third with another triple. And McGuire now has 19. Seven-point lead for Boise State. Savic, nowhere to go. And again, Wyoming running the shot clock down. Bradshaw with 2. Puts it up and rattles it home. A little shot clock cheese there for McKinley Bradshaw, who continues to be on fire from the floor. 17 points, 6 of 7 from the floor, and 2 of 2 from 3. McGuire gets it right back. Mallory's got 22. Whatever you can do, I can do better, she says to Bradshaw. And this back and forth slugfest between McGuire and Bradshaw continues. They're the only 2 in the game in double digits as McGuire steals it away from Bradshaw. Muse met with a double, puts it up left-handed. It's a circus shot of sorts, but it falls regardless. And the Broncos all of a sudden are back up by 9, their largest lead of the game. Floater pass to Bradshaw. Tommy Olsen, straightaway 3. Rebound, Kimora Sykes. Just about 1:40 left in quarter number 3. Broncos playing already their 6th home game of the season. And we've got a foul away from the floor. 3 in the key. Offensive 3 in the key. And that will be a turnover against McGuire. We do not see a ton of those. Boise State likes to space the floor rather than just pack the paint, but McGuire gets whistled for it. And Narrow heads to the bench for the Broncos. Grace Ellis on the floor for Wyoming now as well, as this is David's daughter. David's daughter to the reverse around McGuire. And the native of Karagerthi gets a bucket. Osley, crossover 3-ball, no good. Abby Muse keeps it alive. And it's knocked out of bounds by another European, this time Ola Ostuska from Kartuzy, Poland. Swipes it onto the colored line. Under a minute to go here in the third. Osley. Down low to Bowers, around David's daughter, no good. Ostuska. Quick ball movement from Wyoming as they work low to Bradshaw, and again, Bradshaw comes through. 7 of 8 for 19 points. And all of that in just 16 minutes on the court. Broncos can hold for the final shot. Shot clock is turned off. They lead by 5. As Osley gives it up. A dangerous pass for Muse, who steps on the end line and turns it over. Hard to blame Muse there as the pass was well out of her reach. 1 second, Ostuska misses the backboard, hits off the padding, and we will head to the fourth. Broncos on top by 5. 46-41 is our score here on the Mountain West Network. Fourth quarter here in Boise on an early week Mountain West matchup. A big conference game between the Boise State Broncos, second in the Mountain West, and the Wyoming Cowgirls, who are tied for 6th with their 2-2 conference record. Boise State looking to improve to 4-1 in the Mountain West, 6-0 at home this season. And that is an offensive foul. Grace Ellis on the backside of the play. In fact, not even in the shot there. It was so far away from the play. She was over in the near side corner, and she just shoved her defender and got whistled for the foul. Lavelle, left-hand floater. She continues to struggle, and now Alexis Mark has stepped out of bounds. Her and Lavelle were both tangling for the loose ball. One of the worst shooting performances we've seen from Jade Lavelle in her time as a Bronco. Just 1 of 9 from the floor. But the team up by 5, even with her struggles from the floor, mostly thanks to the career high from Mallory McGuire, 22, breaking her old career high of 19. And talking about career highs, McKinley Bradshaw now has 22. As Bradshaw continues to dominate this game. McGuire wants to get it back, can't do it. Rebound Ostuska. Ostuska out to the corner to Ellis. And McGuire will pull down the board. That'll be number 9 for her, so she's just 1 away from a double-double. As the Broncos lead this one by 2. Minute and a half gone in the final quarter. Season high so far for the Cowgirls is 27 from Sanchez Ramos. That came in the loss in OT last time out against Fresno State. At the moment, Bradshaw with 22. She's threatening that number. As here's David's daughter working on McGuire. Instead, kick out. Bradshaw nearly tried a heat check 3 ball. 3 seconds on the shot clock. And did Bowers pick up a foul? Indeed, she has. Rachel Bowers with a foul there. And Bowers will check out and head to the bench with 2 personal fouls in the game. So not in much danger, but still going to take a rest. Weideman gives up. Ends up getting swung around to Ellis. A toss up there from Ostuska, and it goes in through the tough defense of Lavelle. Surprised that there was no call there, as it looked like it could have been easily a foul. And this game is tied finally for the first time since the first quarter. McGuire can't get it. Offensive rebound thanks to some help from Alexis Mark. And McGuire will just make the smart play and throw it off the leg of Ellis out of bounds to get the Broncos a reset. An incredibly low scoring game here between these two. Just 46 apiece. Boise State came in scoring 75 a game. It doesn't look like they'll get anywhere near that. Osley left alone and knocks down the triple. So Anna Osley gets the 3 ball to fall. Her first points of the game. After having 11 in the victory over Air Force. And now Alexis Mark, the only player on that side of the court. Great move around Weideman and a bucket. So what was once a tie game is now a 5-point Bronco lead. Wyoming still in this. They've been playing catch-up all game, but you cannot count them out. They won on a buzzer beater in game 1 against Fresno, came back and forced the Bulldogs to overtime in the second. Kimura Sykes strips it away. She'll go up, lay it in with the right, and that will prompt a timeout from Gerald Madison, head coach of the Cowgirls. 53-46 our score, 6:08 left to play in the final frame. Wyoming tied the game up at 46, and the Broncos didn't like it. In fact, they didn't like it at all. A 7-0 run for Boise State over the last minute. Started with the Osley 3, Alexis Mark with a steal, Kimura Sykes with a steal, and how it has been all season long through the first 7 games for the Broncos. Defense turning into offense. Matter of fact, the Broncos have 21 points off of turnovers, including 4 here in this run. They lead it 53-46 as we've got 6:08 left to play. And this team of mostly freshmen continuing to terrorize opponents on the defensive end. McGuire, Lavelle, and Bowers, the only 3 upperclassmen on the entire roster. And McGuire at the moment surrounded by 3 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman on the floor. Here's Bradshaw. Weideman, find David Daughter. 1 on the shot clock. She's got to put it up. And from the baseline, about 17 feet, Diney David's daughter knocks it down. Osley trying to make space. Gets McGuire open. McGuire 3-ball. 25 for McGuire, 9 of 18 from the floor, and 5 of 11 from deep. Alexis Mark reaches in and gets a steal. It's her and Narrow. Narrow back to Mark. Beautiful assist. And the star freshmen continue to pour it on. We went from a tie to a 10-point lead for Boise State. Weideman to David's daughter. Up, hangs, back iron, and out for the Niagara University transfer. Osley and McGuire, high pick and roll. This time they defend McGuire on the pop. Mark goes up, scores again. The Broncos can't miss. 6 of their last 6 have dropped. And here when it matters most, the Broncos are pouring it on. Osley picks up a foul. And it'll send Tommy Olson to the line. We will take a timeout, however. 4:07 left in the game. Broncos up by 12. (60-48) is our score here in the fourth, and we were wondering when anyone from either team would break into double digits besides McGuire and Bradshaw, but it's Alexis Mark the first to do it. She's got 12, and most of it has come here in this quarter as the first free throw from Olson doesn't drop. And again, Wyoming continues to struggle from the charity stripe, shooting just 50%, making that one. So they're 5 for 9 from the line now in the game. But they've left some points at the line. And if this game ends up being closer than it is, could possibly look back at that as a big factor. Reagan Reed drives baseline, puts it up, and draws the foul. So she will head to the free throw line, and we'll get another stoppage with 3:43 on the clock. Just straight around Weidman. Both teams with just 2 fouls here in the quarter. And Reed makes the first. Broncos with 6 blocks and 7 steals. Big reason why they're up in this one. 21 points off of turnovers. Scratch that, 23 points off of turnovers for Boise State in this game. And that is a massive reason why they are leading by 12. Olsen, underhanded layup, fouled by Reed. And so after Olsen fouled Reed, Reed returns the favor down on the other end. And just 20 seconds come off the clock. But again, Olsen misses the first free throw. Her mother, Elsa Olsen, played basketball at Wyoming. 81 through 84. A 4-year letter winner. And her daughter following in her footsteps. Narrow to McGuire, down low to Mark, who misses. Sykes came storming in, and it goes straight to McGuire, who misses, and Mark travels, trying to get to the other side of the basket to put it up. That McGuire miss was the first time the Broncos have missed from the floor in their last 6 shots. $11-point lead, 2:45 to play. A lot riding on this one for Boise State. They've won 7 straight at home, dating back to last year, as narrow fouls on the floor. Broncos have also won or split their last 40 regular season conference doubleheaders. As a nice move from Sanchez Ramos gets her a bucket. The Broncos have not been swept by a conference opponent the last 40 times they have had a 2-game matchup. With a victory here today, that streak would improve to 41. Narrow, can't get it. McGuire, second chance. No, that won't go either. It was rebound number 13 for Mallory McGuire, by the way. 25 and 13. Bradshaw straightaway 3. And that is a big basket. Cuts the lead to 6. And Coach Presnell wants a timeout. Bradshaw continues to be incredible. She's 9 of 10 from the floor, 4 for 4 from deep, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. She's got 25 points in 25 minutes, and she has tied McGuire for the game lead, single-handedly keeping Wyoming in this game. No one on the Cowgirls is close to being in double digits. Sanchez Ramos is 2 buckets away. David's daughter is at least 2 buckets away. And Jay Johnson and Marta Savic are 3 buckets away. So the sophomore from Lyman is tearing it up today. It's a new career high for her with the 25 as well. And without her, Wyoming would not have a chance in this one. Here's Osley. They go under the screen. That is banked in. The bank was open 30 minutes ago for Jay Johnson. And it remains open, this time for Anna Osley, who answers back Bradshaw's three-pointer and may have just put this game on ice. David's daughter, blocked by McGuire. 9-point lead for Boise State. And Narrow fouled by Olsen. Wyoming's going to need to use up 2 more fouls to get the Broncos into the bonus. With just 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the game. Instead, the Broncos will just turn it over on the inbounds. Here's David's daughter, and she will get 2 points. A bad blunder there for Boise State, and Olsen fouls again. No 2 fouls in the last 2 minutes here in collegiate women's basketball that sends you to the line. So Wyoming have to foul 1 more time. 58.3 left. Broncos on top by 7. We'll take a break here on the Mountain West Network. Looking like we might have a thrilling conclusion to this one. Wyoming is no stranger to playing in close games. Currently the lead is 7 with 58 seconds left to play. Broncos fed the Cowgirls some points there, and the Cowgirls feeding fouls here, which will send Mary Kay Narrow to the line. Yet another foul against Tommy Olsen. So Narrow will be at the line shooting 2. And from here on out, any foul for either team will be free throws. Narrow knocks down the first. At this point, Cowgirls are going to have to find scoring from someone other than Bradshaw. You'd have to imagine the Broncos will not let McKinley Bradshaw keep hucking up threes. As now Wyoming calls a timeout. Narrow makes them both. 66-57 is the score. A 9-point lead, or 3 possessions for Wyoming, depending on how they play it. As you see, Gerald Madison there, head coach of Wyoming. Just his 2nd season. Had a fantastic season last year with 17 victories, as Wyoming went 17-12 overall, 12-6 in the Mountain West, earned themselves a trip to the Mountain West semifinal game in the tournament. And those 17 wins are the most ever in program history for a first-season head coach at Wyoming. Madison, no stranger to Laramie, however, though he'd been on the roster as an assistant coach and associate head coach for the past 16 seasons, so knows this program inside and out and was able to continue a lot of the same things they had working. Bradshaw go in and score. She is unstoppable. 27, ties a single game high this season. And Boise State will yet again call a timeout. They have 1 remaining. Wyoming has 2. Bradshaw is 10 of 11 from the floor, 4 for 4 from deep, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. And certainly the Broncos have stopped everyone else, but they just can't stop Bradshaw, as she continues to be the lifeline that the Cowgirls cling to here in the 4th. Just about 50 seconds left. Broncos got to advance the ball with the timeout, so Sykes will inbound by the Bronco bench in their half, and Olsen will foul Narrow yet again. So Olsen continues to pick up fouls. That is her 4th. And Mary Kay Narrow will continue to the stripe. And she knocks down the first. Hasn't missed a free throw yet in the game. A perfect 3 for 3. And no sooner than I say that does she miss the second. Cowgirls have to go fast as they trail by 8. Olsen drives in, throws it up, and the foul will be against Narrow. So Tommy Olsen, who's had a tough time at the line this afternoon, will go back. She's just 2 for 4. And she misses the first again. Wyoming with a horrendous performance at the charity stripe. Olsen misses them both, and it's knocked out of bounds by Bradshaw. An empty possession for Wyoming when they needed points desperately, and Coach Presnell will take his final timeout. 67-59, 34 seconds to play. Wyoming 6 of 13 from the free throw line as you see Bradshaw tip it out of bounds there. What a painful game for Wyoming at the line. 46% compared to the 75% for Boise State. And just no scoring to be found. Sanchez Ramos, David's daughter, with 6 and 8 respectively. But other than that, Jay Johnson 5, Savic 5, Weideman 4, Ustoska 2, Grace Ellis 0, Tommy Olsen just 2 points, and both of them came at the free throw line, but she's 2 for 6 from the line. Broncos haven't been much better. McGuire's got 25 and Alexis Mark has 12. Other than that, it's Osley with 6 thanks to those 2 made 3 balls. Narrow with 5. Reed, Bowers, Lalott all with 4. And it's been a low-scoring affair, but the Broncos somehow managing to get close to that 75.5 points per game that they've been averaging this season. Yet another foul. This time it'll send McGuire to the free throw line and run about 1.2 seconds off the clock. And McGuire misses the free throw. So a lid on the basket for both teams at the line at the moment. McGuire misses them both. Wyoming's running out of time. They got to get a shot off here at least in the next 3 seconds or so if they want any chance. Bradshaw, corner 3, missed that one. Her first missed three-pointer of the game, if you can believe that. And on the loose ball, they foul Osley. Sanchez Ramos fouls Osley, and with Wyoming wasting nearly 10 seconds there on that possession, the game looks completely out of reach. However, if the Broncos keep missing free throws, you can never say never. Osley hits the second, as the Broncos had 4 misses in a row there at the line. They're up by 9, under 10 seconds to play. The basket will count, so Weideman will get rewarded there for poor shot selection. And she will head to the free throw line. There's just simply too little time in the game to be taking 2-pointers if you're Wyoming. Even if they make the free throw, and they do not, the game is all but over. So the Broncos will escape 68-61 victory, as the fourth quarter was a back-and-forth affair. But when Wyoming tied it up at 46, the Broncos went on 2 massive runs, including the 14-2 run that all but sealed the fate of the Cowgirls. Boise State improves to 7-1 on the season, 4-1 in Mountain West Conference play, and they continue to sit in second until New Mexico plays, because New Mexico is 2-0 at the top of the conference. Mallory McGuire pours in a career-high 25 points to go along with 15 rebounds, and Alexis Mark backs her up with 12. Those are the leading scorers for Boise State. Meanwhile, McKinley Bradshaw, the game of her life, 10 of 12, 27 points, 4 of 5 from deep, and sets a new career high. These two teams will be right back at it again on Wednesday, same time, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Tip for our crew here at Boise State. I've been Leonard Berry, saying thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you then on the Mountain West Network.